That's what I was going to make. Um, I think the one and done rule sucks because, like you just said, you get players that go to Duke or go to Carolina or go to Kentucky, and they're not there because they want to be there. They want to be in the NBA, and a lot of them aren't good enough to be in the NBA, but you don't find that out until they're in the NBA. But like you said, they don't they don't have the time to develop, and you don't have the time to watch them for 3 or 4 years and kind of develop a fan relationship with them like you used to. Like and another thing I wanted to touch on in college hoops, I was listening to it's funny because Leonard Hamilton, the head coach at Florida State, he made a comment about a month ago about uh, somebody had made a comment to him about Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, um, Indiana, UCLA, all these teams struggling. And they asked him something about what do you make of all the blue bloods struggling. He said, "I'm not worried about the blue bloods. I'm just worried about us because we're one of the new bloods." And the ESPN kind of Jay Billis and a couple other guys kind of expanded on that, and they were talking about it a couple days ago. Um, Gonzaga, Villanova, Texas Tech, Texas, Florida State. There's all these Virginia, which Virginia was good years and years and years ago, but they've kind of made a comeback. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all these schools are on the rise, and these blue bloods, as they call them, are kind of falling off. And it's been a lot of fun to watch these last few years. Like last year, man. Of course, I'm a huge Florida State fan. I was so disappointed because I felt like that Seminoles team had a really good chance at making it to the Final Four. I mean, and then going into the ACC tournament, of course, we got a bye to the semis or the second round, and they're warming up on the floor when they called the ACC tournament and said it's not going to be played. Then the next day they called the NCAA tournament off, and that sucked. But I think that it's if you want to watch college basketball, and even Auburn, man, Bruce Pearl, and I think it's probably another year before he gets Auburn in sanctions, but he's turned Auburn into a fun team to watch. So if you're going to watch any college hoops, I'd say you need to watch Florida State, Auburn, Texas is fun to watch, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, all those types of schools. Oh, Baylor. If you haven't seen Baylor play this year, oh my God, they
So
are.
I listen to a college football or college basketball podcast. I just don't watch college basketball, so I keep up with the storylines. I kind
Yeah,
of know what's going on in the sport without watching it, man. But the one and done is killing the blue bloods. When Coach K went all the way in on one and done,
yeah.
because he was he was out on it at one point. Then he was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I think that was some of Nike saying, "Hey, Coach K, like, we need you to."
And then he
When
signed Kyrie,
huh?
and then he signed Kyrie, and that changed it.
And it did. And even if you look at the 2015 team, though, they just had great freshmen, but their bench was still 2, 3, and 4 year Duke players. And I think that once you lose that, you're not going to win a championship unless you have AD, Michael Kidd, Gilchrist, and that type of level freshman talent.
Well,
Because even
that
though,
Kentucky squad.
uh huh,
Go ahead. I've done that 3 times, man. I'm sorry. That Kentucky squad was loaded with veteran talent,
and
other than Kid Gilchrist and AD.
that's what's missing from that's just what's missing from college basketball is the reason why Gonzaga is relevant because you may go pro out of Gonzaga, but you're not going to Gonzaga to go pro. And
That's right.
no knock on what John Calipari is doing. He's making a lot of people rich. And he's like, look, you come here, I am going to groom you to be the best NBA player that you can be. I don't think Calipari's trying to win national championships. He's creating NBA players. But it becomes what are you trying to do? If you're at an established place where championships matter, but they don't matter because you're still getting top end recruiting classes, cool. But if you're at a Baylor you're not an NBA factory, bro. You got to win. You got to win the Big 12. You got to unseat Kansas.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that once the NBA, which the NBA did it to themselves because their scouting department sucked and they were paying people like Kwame Brown too much money because, sorry, bro, you can't scout. It's hard to scout a high-end high school player versus the low-end talent that he consistently is playing against. You get the NBA saying, oh, no, we want to see you in college for a year. But if Adam Silver can do what he's trying to do to create this NBA farm system that's similar to European soccer, I think that college basketball becomes its own separate entity where you can still make the league from college basketball, but you're not necessarily playing college basketball to become an NBA player. It's just like, hey, I'm pretty good at basketball, but I understand where my ceiling is, and I want to go to Duke. I want to go to North Carolina. I want to go to Texas. I want to go to Georgia, whatever the college is, for 4 years and get a degree.
Yeah. Because let's be real, 98 point whatever it is % of your college athletes are never going to see the floor in the NBA or the field in the NFL.
Exactly. So if once that farm system and the G League thing, and it really sucks that we have this COVID going on this year because we don't get to really see the G League experiment work the way that they're trying to make it work. Yeah, they got the G League bubble, but it's going to be a little bit different. I think that's going to be good because also, man, those high schoolers thinking they're about to go to the G League and just dominate because they are better basketball players. They're 18 playing against 25, 27-year-old men who are hungry for a contract because they making $35,000 a year trying to feed, you know what I mean? Like trying to get an NBA contract so they can live that good life. They're not getting paid as handsomely as these highly recruited kids are. So
yeah, they're not making anything in the G League.